hands where I can see them. The order snapped like a thunderclap as 3 armed men encircled my truck on the dusty lane leading to Grandpa's ranch. My pulse raced. This was the same quiet trail I'd wandered as a boy, now transformed into what felt like a border patrol zone. The head guard swung his flashlight beam straight into my eyes, blinding me for a second. Jack Thompson, he stated with eerie precision, glancing at a clipboard. How on earth did they know I was headed this way when I hadn't breathed a word to anyone? You're on private land without permission, he announced. But what unfolded next uncovered a scheme darker than I could have dreamed. Just 5 minutes before, I'd been cruising through the warm Texas dusk, windows rolled down, inhaling the scent of fresh-cut grass and mesquite. It had been half a year since my honorable discharge from military intelligence, half a year of putting off this visit home. Regret chewed at me as old sights passed by. The rickety fence lines and open fields were straight out of my childhood summers, helping Walter with chores, learning to handle his ancient Ford, and soaking up his tails on the front porch swing. As I topped the gentle rise, the ranch house appeared. A sturdy 2-story painted white, standing firm through 45 Texas summers since Walter bought the place in 1978. The gate still sported his homemade sign, Thompson Family Ranch. Est. 1978. The paint had faded, but it all seemed serene, just as it should, until I spotted the barricade tape strung across the path 50 yards from the drive, striped in glaring red and white. A steel sign proclaimed in bold letters, restricted access. Authorized personnel only. Oak Ridge HOA Security. 3 guys in dark blue outfits stood at attention around it, like they were guarding a fortress. Their posture set off alarms from my Army days. They weren't loafing around a post. They were set up like they anticipated trouble, specific trouble. Each had pro-grade gear, radios, heavy flashlights, and notepads that screamed officialdom. Their badges said HOA Security, but the uniforms looked brand new, not scuffed from real work. Worst of all, no squad cars in sight, just 3 civilian pickups pulled off to the side. That's when the boss man advanced, and things spiraled. Mike Donovan, per his tag, was a burly fellow in his 50s, built like a linebacker used to bullying folks into line. His tone had a drill sergeant's edge, but something rang false. His stride, his stance. It echoed the private contractors I'd dealt with abroad, the sort who wore badges but played by their own code. Kill the engine and get out, he barked, his hand lingering near what sure looked like a holstered pistol. I eased out slow, my training kicking in, noting every detail. Mike was eyeing his clipboard, cross-checking it with my face like confirming a suspect. The second guy, Sam Hartley, angled himself for a flank if needed, while the third, Tom Whitaker, scanned the road behind. These weren't rent-a-cops. This was a setup. Pardon me, I said evenly, despite the adrenaline spike. This is the private drive to my grandfather's ranch. Mike glanced up, and the look in his eyes chilled me. He recognized me before I'd said boo. He knew exactly who I was. You're Jack Thompson, right? The question landed like a gut punch, proving this was no coincidence. Somehow, these strangers knew I'd show up at Walter's ranch today, even though it was a last-minute whim. I hadn't planned it, or told a soul. Yeah, but how? I started, but Mike cut me short with words that flipped my world. Jack Thompson, you're barred from this property as of now. He recited it like legalese, and I saw he had docs with my name prepped, like they'd been lying in wait. Sam edged nearer, his hand by his belt. Not your call anymore, buddy. This lands under HOA oversight. The nonsense clicked in my brain like a puzzle piece. HOA? I echoed, disbelief sharp. There's no homeowners association here. This is ranch land my family's held for 45 years. I waved at the vast pastures and distant homesteads that dotted this wide-open country. HOAs were for cookie-cutter suburbs, not out here where folks lived miles apart. Mike checked his notes again, his moves slick and pro. This wasn't some bully on a power kick. This was coordinated. Per Oak Ridge Homeowners Association directive, Jack Thompson is denied entry due to risk of interfering with community operations. He read it flat, vague words meant to sound legit, but say zilch. Tom nodded like it was gospel, acting his part in this charade. Mr. Walter Thompson entered a property oversight deal. All visits need HOA okay. The blows kept coming, each more absurd. I switched to analyst mode, the mindset that got me through 6 years in intel. That's nonsense, I said steady, rage simmering. My grandfather, Walter Thompson, owns this ranch outright since '78. But even saying it, I pieced together the horror, oversight deal, visit approvals. It screamed that Walter had been tricked or forced into giving up his rights. Mike loomed closer, a classic pressure play from Interrogation 101. Security issues? I pushed. What threat am I to my own kin's land? His brief flinch confirmed their story was bunk. Sam jumped in. Operations demand restricted entry to follow protocols. Bureaucratic babble that screamed rehearsed cover for something illegal. How'd you know I'd show today? I drilled, probing their prep. I didn't tell anyone. Mike's jaw clenched, a tell. We track all approaches to secured sites, he said. But that begged more questions. Track how? This was rural Texas, no cameras or fences. Track, I pressed. This is private land, no surveillance setup. Mike's mind raced, visible in his eyes, he'd slipped. Sam deflected. Listen, soldier boy, we're not the bad guys. We're safeguarding values and proper handling. The military nod froze me. They knew my service history, intel not public. That meant deep access. How do you know about my Army time? I demanded, watching Mike tense at the blunder. My intel background was classified. Someone with clearance had fed them this. Mike smoothed it. Guessed from your stance and rig. Now scram before we call the law on trespass. But I was ahead. Trespass on my grandpa's place. Show me this oversight deal. Mike stonewalled. Confidential HOA matters, not for outsiders. Tom chimed. Mr. Thompson's well cared for. Your visit would disrupt the handover. Handover. Another loaded term hinting at the plot scale. The dots connected fast. They had my name, history, and plans. Docs banning me specifically. A handover needing family kept out. This was about cutting Walter off from protectors. I got back in my truck, but my brain was in overdrive. Mike yelled, Jack Thompson, we got your plates. Show within 2 miles, you're busted for trespass. 2 miles. No HOA ruled public roads. That screamed delusion or real power backing them. As I reversed, I mirrored them radioing in, intense chat suggesting orders from higher up. The big questions loomed as I drove off. How'd they predict my unannounced visit? Who leaked my classified file? What handover locked an old man from family? And why target Walter's ranch with this pro-op? After Army intel, I knew this stank of big trouble. Someone was after my grandfather, and they'd just poked the wrong bear. I pulled my truck off a mile away, tucked behind some live oaks for a clear view of the ranch. Army intel taught me. Face a pro setup, don't bolt, scout. From my gear bag, I grabbed binoculars and started recon on what should be Walter's quiet spread. What I saw confirmed a nightmare. The guards weren't mall cops on the cheap. They rotated shifts military style every 8 hours, with encrypted comms and patrols fit for a hot spot, not Texas backcountry. Sam handed off to a fresh face at 1400 sharp, with checks and zones assigned. Walter's old Ford sat dusty by the barn, unmoved for days per the buildup. This was containment. After 2 hours watching, I chose, call Walter's landline, the number I'd dialed weekly as a kid. It rang 4 times before his voice, a tense whisper. Jack. Fear I'd never heard from him. In the background, a woman's sharp tone. Walter, who's on the line? His gasp said it all. Not a nurse. This was a watcher controlling calls. Walter's rushed code. Meet at Betty's Cafe, 0800 tomorrow. Solo. Click, but footsteps neared first. Someone eavesdropped. Intel eval kicked in. Guards had my dossier, suggesting database access. Overkill security for a land squabble. Walter showed monitored signs, limited talk, supervised life. That night, via old contacts, I pulled county files secure like. No legit HOA on record. Walter sole owner. But 3 oversight packs filed last 4 months, signed by Victor Langford as rep. Next morn, I hit Betty's early, sweeping for tails, plotting escapes. Walter arrived on the dot, but he looked a decade older, shoulders slumped, eyes darting, hands shaky as he sat. Not the tough rancher who'd built this from scratch. They said you'd turn up, he started low. They were ready. I clasped his frail hands. Who, Grandpa? No grin, just haunted eyes. That lady, Elena something, claims she's boosting land worth for when I pass it to you. My heart ached seeing this man, who taught me tractor driving, patched my cuts, shared building stories, broken. What did you sign? I asked soft. He recounted Victor Langford, lawyer, spinning yarns that sounded good to a non-legal mind. Temporary oversight to hike value before you inherit, Walter echoed, scripted. Ensure you get something worthwhile, not old dirt. Pain laced his words. They'd convinced him his life sweat was trash without pros managing it. Grandpa, I said firm, holding his gaze. This ranch matters because it's ours. You made it. Every post, every acre's your grit. It's where I learned hard work and family. Tears welled as I went on. No one's taking that. I'll stop them. Walter leaned in. She knew you'd come, Jack. Elena knew your reactions, your moves. Knows your service stuff I never shared. Raw fear. How's a landlady privy to Army intel? As we left, Walter gripped me. Wanted you to inherit value. Scripted again. They'd weaponized his love, making him think signing was kindness. Outside, I asked, any visitors lately? Neighbors? None. She said protection. Visits confuse or mess management. They'd isolated him totally. Driving away, the plot crystallized. Psyops on an elder owning prime land. Elder abuse as corp strategy to grab thousands while he thanked them. But the intel on me screamed bigger players. Who fed her my file? How many families ruined? First post-meet, I dug on Victor Langford via Intel Nets. No Texas bar license. Profile, real estate consultant for Langford Industries, strategic land grabs. Corp docs showed not one-off con. 15 projects on elderly solo-owned rural spots. Pattern, spot isolated seniors, fake creds approach, beneficial sounding docs that seize control, isolate from support. Abuse is business. Hours dissecting Walter's signed papers via high-res scans, intel forgery tricks. Flaws glared, 99-year temp, fees topping land value, fake HOA boundaries. Buried clause claimed ranch in HOA zone, no record. Criminal proof if built right. Thought it fee scam, but investor pose call to Langford changed that. Receptionist gushed. Oak Ridge Resort finale, 95% land secured. One key 45-acre farm for master plan, close in 60 days. Walter's exact size, deadline pressure. Mapped acquisitions, circle around Maplewood Aquifer, huge underground water for 200K folks, billions untapped. Walter's ranch atop main access, linchpin. Not resort. Water control cover for extraction profits. Timeline. Permits needed before seasonal checks. Miss. Years lost. Rival snag. Needed his land fast. Upscale. Lawyers, pros, officials, finance. My intel access. Beyond civvy. Crime, org using corp fail. That night, I hired ex-Army PI for deeper dig without tripping alarms. Felt steps behind. They predicted me. Guards prepped. Comms tapped. If months/years planning water heist, what else hidden? What if they saw me probing? No more grandpa aid. I wore a ruthless outfit destroying seniors for gain. My edge, underestimating a vet intel guy's family defense. PI meet next morn up fears. Truck stopped 20 miles out, noisy for bug defeat. Her 12-hour dig. Langford funded by shells tied to defense contractors in resource management. CEO ex-DoD contractor with clearances for my files. Clerk call. DoD badge folks asked about your searches on Thompson land. Feds tracking my probe. Gov complicit in citizen theft? Tested. Fake lawyer meet info on Walter's line. 2 hours. Guarded spot. Real-time taps. Quick deploy. Vehicle check. Mill-grade GPS under chassis. Pro install likely at cafe. Rage shook me photographing it. PI. 12 families hit same. Lands over resources. Water, minerals, contracts. Insidious. Bought local gov. Commissioner got campaign cash. Fees for fast permits. Bypassing rules. Signed fake HOA designations. Timeline matched DoD awards. Aquifer access for reserve. Really monopoly resale to dry states. Millions yearly. 75-day ENV review. Incomplete acquisitions trigger probes. Kill project. Deadline explained escalation. Fraud to surveillance. Crimes under mill justice. My tools. Evening test. Location hops. Counter routes. Revealed 6 vehicles. Posts. Encrypted nets. Major op. Questions. More hidden powers? Reaction to my dismantle? No probe. Counterintel versus private mill using gov for profit. Needed Fed-proof evidence. Tomorrow. Case build to topple or target me. Morn came. Choice. Confront with law backup. Called sheriff. Met deputy for escort to ranch. Witness illegals. Deputy Ramirez. Seasoned. Rights focused. Reviewed my docs. Texas code says no HOA bars family access, agreements or not. With him trailing, I neared barrier. Guards tense. No swagger. Mic forward. Hand on radio. Here with Deputy Ramirez for family access right. I boomed. Texas Property Code 15.03. Inherent visits. HOA can't block. Deputy affirmed. New face. Victor Langford, sweaty despite cool. Gentlemen, I'm management rep. Mr. Thompson signed restricting to authorized. Prepped since uncovering no license. I fired. Licensed in Texas? Pause. I shift. Deflect to consultant. Recorded. Penal Code 38.122. Unlicensed law practice. Felony. Face paled. Agreement violates Business Code 15.05. Unconscionable terms. Crusher. Human Resources Code 48.002. Elder exploit. Felony. Guards backed. Victor desperate. He signed knowing bigger pick. Land strategic beyond ranching. Pressed. Strategic. Flushed. National security over ownership. Deputy brows up. Mike aired. Old man signed. Hold security month. Fed transfer done. Family irrelevant. Gov protected. Rep feds. Deputy sharp. False gov claims. Fed crime. Mike stammered. Admitting impersonation. Threats. Recorded all. Admitted Fed impersonate. Fraud. Deputy called backup. Victor threat. No idea who you're messing with. Op has top gov approval. Problems mean consequences beyond local. Deputy hand to gun. Threatening. Panic as backups arrived. Statements taken. Satisfaction. Overconfidence spilled scope. Evidence for feds. But new battle start. Resources meant fight back. What to protect? Aquifer investment. Crimes to silence me? 3 days post-clash. Call cracked it. Trembling voice. Ex-Langford Laura Bennett. Fired for questioning ENV reports. Need no real plans for Grandpa's land. Met Austin coffee shop. Public safe. Laura Jumpy. 18 months secretary. Not resort or fees. Water control. Sell high bidder. Envelope. Internal docs exposing conspiracy for 200K lives. Email. Thompson land keys aquifer pressure. Without 45 acres. Extract unviable. Critical timeline. ENV review 75 days. Laura. 3 years planning. Targeted 12 properties. Exploited vulnerabilities. Your grandpa. Elderly. Alone. Prime land. Distant family. Jaw tight imagining Walter profiled. Doc. Fake resort cover for ENV bypass via mill contractor status. DoD class speeds permits. Blocks public view. Water value $500 million per year. 20-year min. Beyond theft. Control county's water. Billions while devastating ENV. Real studies. Catastrophe in 5 years. Wells dry. Farms fail. Water gone. New damage. Figured profits beat penalties. Eco-crime scale. Emails. Bribes. Commissioner needs more for coup. Up to 25K/month plus bonus for review delays. Laura. Paid to sabotage regs. Delay reviews. Bury complaints. Corruption up to state, Fed, regs, Congress staff. Bought approvals. Fake legitimacy. 72-day review. Irregularities suspend. Probe kills. $50 million invested. Any crime to shield. More. Financial webs. Shells. DoD funds for resource theft. Laura. Weekly meets Tuesdays. CEO reviews probs. Your case top security. Final. Force sign in 2 weeks. If not, Med emergency declare incompetent. Paid guardian transfers. Rage at fake diagnosis theft. Not fraud, system corruption versus vulnerable. Time over. Action to wreck before they finished. Sleepless reviewing, plan, drag to light, public scrutiny crumbles lies. 48 hours, org mill op, meetings with feds, state ENV, corruption media. Center, town hall forcing CEO defend crimes before victims. Oak Ridge Center packed, 150 residents, not fest but fury over theft, water, corruption. Invited 12 families, neighbors at risk. Media, TV crews, reporters, doc filmmaker. State Rep Ellis for Legis probe. Feds, FBI white collar, ENV prosecutor, DOD auditor, after prelim evidence of contract abuse. CEO Victoria Hale arrived Mercedes, tense surveying crowd, aides, security. Folks, I opened. Criminal outfit stealing elderland, planning water ruin for profit. Projected Laura's proof, fraud emails, ENV destruction. Hale rose, serious claims from stolen docs. Legit DOD contractor for security resources. Played recording, her bribing commissioner. Delay permits 90 days, cost no object. Crowd erupted. Hale, out of context. Not crime. Second tape, her on med fraud. If old man resists, incompetent via med contact. Guardian signs 24 hours, family moot. Rep Ellis, confirming fraud med to steal. Fed crimes. FBI noted, prosecutor recorded. Hale snapped. You don't get resource econ. Billions in water wasted on crops while Cali dries. Chaos. Admitted water theft for outstate sale. Optimizing resource. Rural's inefficient. Need pro management. FBI. Arrest for conspiracy, fraud, ENV crimes, elder abuse. Prosecutor added permit fraud. Auditor revoked contracts. Commissioner Harlan stood. Resign immediate. Thought dev benefit, but manipulated. Confession sealed corruption. Hale cuffed. Regret when Cali pays 10x your farm's worth. Dev needs bold lead provincials lack. Media captured. Assets seized for biggest Texas ENV prosecution. Rep Ellis. Emergency bill. Elder protect. Penalties for fraud med. Contractor oversight. Walter addressed. Thanks all exposing. Tried steal land. Ruin community. But underestimated neighbors united. Walking out. Op success feel, but rebuild start. Prosecutions months. ENV years. Legis ongoing. 6 months on. Porch sunset over ranch hours again. Free shadow. Justice thorough. Hale 8 years Fed prison fraud. ENV. Abuse. Civil bars profit. Fake lawyer 4 years state unauthorized law. Abuse. Conspiracy. Guard lead 2 years intimidation. Surveillance. Harlan 3 years reduced for coup. $500,000 fine to victims. Career toast. Probe hit 3 states. 12 more charged. Restitution. Walter $150,000 for distress. Upgrades. Other families similar. Total $3 million from assets. Aquifer protected state resource. No extract threatening $200K. Monitoring. Regs ban harm. Elder Act. Penalties fraud med. Contractor verify claims. Left consulting. Moved help Walter. Purpose beyond corp. Thompson Coop with neighbors. Sustainable model. Uni attention. My veterans land guard. 3x intel. Legal ties. 12 counties protect seniors. Community impact. Maplewood study for rural fights. Visits 7 states. Doc National. Inspired reforms. Evening. Walter handed 1978 deed while naming me heir. 45 years hours. Safe with you next 45. Restored. Fences, irrigation, house. Water clear, farms thrive, wildlife back. Community bonds, comms, support, officials watched. Phone Mr. Thompson, Sheriff Dawson, Brazos County. Elder ranchers pressured by Fed claim folks. Family wants you, per Maplewood. Walter nodded. Be there mourn. Send docs, start probe. No one faces alone. Sunset reflection, started banned from ranch, now mission versus exploit. Victory lasting, but fight on, profits tempt, victims vulnerable. System strengthened? Enough defend? What do you think about the violence and injustice in stories like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe standing up like Jack did is the way to fight back, or is there a better approach? Take a stand and let us know your views.